Hello and welcome to another episode of Geared Toward Gear. My name's Sean. I'm so glad you're here as always. Today we're taking a look at a flashlight. And there's two here. And full disclosure, as I'm always pretty open with you guys, these were sent to me by the company. They contacted me kind of unsolicited, just emailed me at my Geared Toward Gear email and said, hey, we've got this light. Do you want to take a look at it? And I said, sure, so long as you send me one that I can give away. So they sent me two. And I'm actually going to give them both away. I have plenty of flashlights, and these are good. They're not the best in the world, but they are good lights. And but I don't need them. I've got so many, varying from super high value, low cost lights to much more expensive lights that are well over $100. And I don't need them, and I've got a giveaway coming up, and so these are both being given away. So thank you to the company for sending them. But they will both be given away. So stay tuned for that upcoming giveaway. We'll get one of them out of the way and we'll get into the box here and see what we're looking at. So the company is called NiteNumen. However, they misspelled their own name on the box. So you can see it says NiteNumen. It should say NiteNumen, and I'll show you that on the user manual. I've seen that before on, some of these Chinese companies and their packaging and the translation and things like that. But somebody pointed that out to me that they misspelled their own name, which it is what it is. Doesn't affect anything, but just thought that was kind of funny. So we got a little bit of marketing here on the box. It says Cree LED, 1000 lumens, which I think is actually pretty damn close to accurate on the advertised output. It's USB rechargeable, which is really nice. And then it says multitask hybrid series. I don't really know what that means. There's nothing about this to me that would make it hybrid in any way. So again, it may just be poor translation from Chinese. I honestly don't know. But it's a decent light, and we'll get into the box here in just a second. Some more info on the back about charging and your IPX rating and things like that. So it is the model TP19. And it's a full kit, which is nice. So you get everything you need in the box, which is always a bonus. So inside the box, when you open it, you're going to get your light right on top. And the way these are shipped is, and you'll see this light around the side switch turn blue, which is kind of cool. They ship these with the tail cap loosened up just enough to not have contact with the battery source. So when I twist this, turn it on, you'll get that blue light letting you know that you have full battery, or in this case, blue indicates that you have over 70% battery. If it's red, that means you're below 20%. So the light is now in its working position, so we'll set that off to the side and see what else we get. So if we flip this over, we're gonna get, what did I do with the user manual? I think it may have, yeah, user manual stayed in the box. So you can see here, NiteNumen is the name of the company as opposed to NiteNumen. So again, it's kind of funny. It is what it is, but it doesn't affect anything. So there's your user manual. And then the extras you get, I think, is a huge bonus with this light. And there's some other companies like Sofern. I've reviewed a number of their lights that do these kits. They're kind of all in one, which is nice. So you get a belt sheath or belt holster, and I will say that this is pretty terrible, like really bad actually. So if you're the type that likes to carry flashlights in a holster on your belt, you're gonna want to get a different one because this one is just not good in any way. The nylon is super thin, very low quality, and it's not made for this light, like not even close. No matter which way you put the light in, bezel down, bezel up, doesn't matter. When you go to secure it, you're getting like a 1/4 of an inch of Velcro that actually makes contact, and then all this extra loop Velcro that's just doing nothing for you. So very little retention to speak of. So to me, this is a total throwaway item, a very cheap, poorly designed sheath. So, I think if you're going to include a sheath, even at the price point that these come in at, which is $37 for the full kit, which isn't a bad price. If you're going to put a sheath in, at least, even if it's poor quality, at least make it fit, right? So that's the one kind of major bummer, is that it just doesn't even fit the light. So for me, that's a throwaway. They do include a decent little wrist lanyard. Also in this bag, you're gonna get a spare O-ring and a spare silicone boot for your USB charging port, which is a nice touch. I do like getting those extra port covers. And then your micro USB cable for charging. So having said that, obviously it is USB rechargeable. So there's your charging port right there. You simply open that up, plug in your cable, charge it, and you're good to go. It is IPX8 rated, so it's 2 meters of water submersion. I'll do a quick test of that here in a second, as well as 1 meter of drop safe. So this seal should be good, and we'll find out here in a moment. It's a side switch only, so no tail switch. So if you're into the clicky tail switch, this is not going to be for you. I personally kind of can take it or leave it. I like both. I own several of each variety. So for me, it's not an issue that it doesn't have a clicky tail switch, but something to take note of if that's your preference. It has a pocket clip, which is actually pretty decent. A lot of these budget lights have just the most atrocious pocket clips. This one's not bad. I've carried it in the pocket for about a day and a half. I didn't want to overuse this because I am going to give it away, and so I wanted to keep it in basically new or like new condition. But it is a good kind of deep ride clip that functions just fine. The finish on this one, as well as the other one that will also be given away, are both this kind of grayish silver color. It's definitely got some kind of sheen and shine to it, as you can see when the light hits it. And it's a good looking color. The finish itself, as far as the quality, is fine. It's not the best I've seen by any means. I think they could have done better. But again, you're paying $35 for one of these kits for 1,000 lumen light. And we'll talk about output here in just a bit. But so the finish is okay. You know, as far as longevity, how long that'll last, if it'll wear off, I'm not sure. But it's kind of on par with other lights that I've owned in this price range. So, you know, not the best in the world, but not terrible. There's your model number right there, TP19. So let's get these extras out of the way. Let's talk about a couple more kind of features, and then we'll go through the user interface. Then we'll head outside and get some nighttime shots. So it uses a Cree XPL LED. It's got a smooth reflector, so you're going to get a little more distance than you would if it had a textured or orange peeled reflector, but it's definitely not a thrower. It's a combination beam. It's got a lot of flood to it, so good just general purpose utility flashlight for garage, glove box, vehicle kit, you know, going for a walk with the dog, things like that. It puts out a nice floody beam, so I do like that. The battery source on this is an 18650 lithium-ion rechargeable battery, which is a great battery source. I've got tons of lights that run on 18650s, and this one does come with a battery, which, as I've mentioned in the past, is always a huge bonus because 18650s aren't super cheap, and they did spell their name correctly on this battery. 3,400 milliamps, or milliamp hours, I should say, 3.7 volts. But what is nice about this light, that's not always the case with 18650 powered lights, is this will also run on 2 CR123 disposable batteries. And as I said, that's not the case with all 18650 lights. I have several actually that are far more expensive than this that will only take the single 18650. With this light, you know, if this dies and you don't have a cable nearby, or you just want some backup batteries, you can put 2 CR123s in here and it'll run on those just fine. So that is a bonus in my book, that it runs on multiple battery sources, both the rechargeable kind as well as the disposable. With the 18650, obviously you get the USB rechargeable capability. With the CR123s, they're disposable batteries, they're not rechargeable, so you wouldn't be able to charge those with that. But that is what it is. So let's talk about the modes. So you've got kind of 4 main, or I guess 5 main modes. You've got an eco, low, medium, high, and turbo. And your output levels are going to be from lowest to highest 8 lumens. Then we're going to bump up to 80, 320, 650, and 1000. So to operate the light, simply press and hold the side switch, and it does have memory, so whatever mode I was most recently on is what this is going to turn on in. So press and hold, it looks like we're on moonlight. And that light on the side there, the battery indicator, does come on when you turn the light on, and it will stay on, which is kind of cool. It looks neat and it doesn't draw much energy from the battery, so that blue light does stay on. So there's your moonlight mode. 8 lumens for 500 hours is what they claim. One click will take you up to your low mode, which is 80 lumens, which they claim runs for 15 hours. One more click takes you to medium, 320 lumens for 6 hours. One more takes us to high, 650 lumens for 3 hours. And one last click bumps us up to turbo, which is the full 1000 lumens, which they claim will run for 2 hours. And we'll talk about the runtime here in a second. From any mode, whether it's eco, medium, turbo, whatever, if you press and hold the side switch, it's going to go to strobe. So strobe warning here, press and hold, we get strobe. One click takes us from strobe to more of a beacon mode, and then one more click turns the light off. Again, to turn it back on, just press and hold, and it's going to come back on to your most recent stored memory mode, which was turbo, and then you can just click through your brightness levels from there. So that's your basic UI. Not hard to learn whatsoever, and not an uncommon one in lights of this style. So that's what we're looking at there. So runtime, they claim 2 hours on turbo, which is 1000 lumens, and that's not the case, not even close. I'm actually shocked that they even claim that. There's no way that an 18650 battery can pump out 1000 lumens for that long on any light. It's not really within the realm of possibility, actually. So when I tested this, after about 5.5, 6 minutes, it dropped down from turbo down to high. So it probably, dropped a few hundred lumens, which is actually not bad. I have expensive flashlights that have similar output around 1000 lumens that will drop down after like a minute and a half, like 90 seconds, because they just get too hot. So the fact that this lasted for 5.5, 6 minutes actually impressed me. So despite the fact they claimed 2 hours, 5 minutes was still impressive to me. So just something to note there. So that's the basic rundown on the NiteNumen model TP19. Again, it's a full kit, everything you need right out of the box, and it's a perfectly serviceable flashlight. It's not my favorite. I have so many, and I've used and handled and carried so many different lights. This would kind of be in the middle of the pack, I guess. There's ones that I have and that I've used that are not quite as good as this, and I have several that are far better. And I think the price point at $37, I think it could come down a little bit. And I'll leave a link to Amazon if you want to go and look for yourself and see if you think you want to buy one. That's totally up to you, but I think it's probably more like a $28, $30 light. So maybe overpriced by, 15%, something like that, in my personal opinion. Again, having bought and used and reviewed other lights that come in these full kits that have similar features, similar output, that come in at a slightly lower price point, I think that they could and probably should lower the price point on these a little bit if they want to up their sales. But it's not a bad light at all. It'll get the job done. It's a flashlight. It turns on, it gives you light, and that's what we want in a flashlight, and it certainly does that. So I'm going to do a quick kind of water test. I'm not going to go crazy on this because I am going to give this away, but I just want to see if this works. I'm going to make sure that this silicone boot here on the USB input is in its fully sealed position. Let's go ahead and turn this on to medium, and we'll just dunk it in the water. And it's definitely, that's actually kind of making a cool little effect there. I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, I mean, it's in the water, and I'll dunk it past the USB input. Screw it, I'm just gonna drop it in there. So it still works. And I can press the side switch here while it's still in the water. I'm totally blocking the screen with my hand. I apologize, my big ass hand. Can run through the brightness levels. So, yep, waterproof, or water resistant, I should say, seems to be legit. So with that said, there's your NiteNumen TP19. Let's head outside real quick, get some beam shots, and we'll close it out from there. Again, both of these are going to be given away. Links below to Amazon if you want to take a look at it. And I'll meet you outside. Stand by. All right, welcome back to the backyard. So we got the NiteNumen TP19, or is it PT19? I already forgot the model number, I apologize. And I will say, after putting in the water, 3 seconds with a paper towel, bone dry, nothing infiltrated anywhere, so good to go there for whoever ends up winning this. So no issues with the water resistance. So I've got it on Moonlight currently, and this is 8 lumens. So this would be good, just, you know, you wake up in the middle of the night, need to kind of move around the house. Plenty of light to do that. Shining on this tree here, you're not gonna be able to see it at all. If I bump it up to low, now you're gonna be able to see the tree. And let's go ahead and just take it to turbo. So medium, high, turbo. So that tree is probably 30 feet away. The shed in the back corner of the yard is probably 150 feet away, somewhere around there. As you can see, it's got plenty of flood, right? So you got a little hot spot in the middle, but plenty of flood and spill to kind of light up a large area. So definitely a usable beam. It's a pretty cool tint. So it's kind of a bright white color. Perfectly usable, no issues there, and it puts out definitely a good amount of light. I would say maybe not quite 1,000 lumens, but pretty darn close to it. So yeah, no real complaints. There's your beam pattern. You can see kind of that hot spot in the middle, and then all that spill around it. So it's going to kind of reach out there and touch things like the shed, but still give you all of that flood that's usable to light up a larger area. So there's your beam pattern on the NiteNumen. Thank you guys for watching. I do really appreciate it. And again, these will both be given away in an upcoming giveaway, so stay tuned for that, and I'll talk to you soon.